They finally fixed Optimus Prime. Well, a fourth-party company did. This is the MHM-01 Supreme Commander by Mohan. I'm not even gonna try and pronounce that. I got this from the Shoji store. They're awesome. Make sure to use code MECHA, link in the description. And seriously, use the code. It lets them know that you love me and that you would sacrifice your life for me. Thank you. So I'll be talking about what exactly this figure is, any differences from the official figure, including the transformation, which has some key differences, the purpose of this figure, if you should buy it, and the plaster quality, which is it's not that bad. This is an oversized knockoff with a better vehicle mode of the Rise of the Beast Studio Series Optimus Prime, a figure that is impossible for most people to find, so I recommend people buy a knockoff of that, which I did a video on. I don't know anything about a re-release at the moment. This knockoff is much larger than the original. It has a cleaner truck bed, the figure comes with multiple accessories, more paint applications, a Noah Diaz figure, and some parts forming, which is optional. So it's not a big deal. Now most people will tell you size doesn't matter, which is what women usually tell me. Some people say size is important, but really it just comes down to personal preference. I'm not talking about Transformers figures, but the same can be said for Transformers figures. I love large figures. This figure towers over the original. Like next to the Noah figure, if the size scaling between these two is accurate, Optimus would be huge in real life. If you look up at him, you will get a straight view of his man boobies. Noah has two options here, Optimus Prime or Optimus Mommy. Kill me. This is the size Voyager class figures used to be. Here he is next to Vector Prime from Transformers Cybertron, a figure from 2004, and not the hideous abomination. And here he is with some more recent Optimus Prime figures. The Shoji store lists this guy at around 7.87 inches. He is one big daddy. Now the problem with oversized knockoffs is that now you have a scaling problem with your figures. The Studio Series figures are all meant to be in scale with each other, which is why RC is a core class figure. So this figure is going to tower over your Studio Series Rise of the Beast figures. Here he is with RC, Bumblebee, and A-Razor, all from the Rise of the Beast movies. Here's the thing though, I don't really care about size scaling. I care about good figures, and we're here to see if this figure is any good. The color of plastic is different from the original figure, but you're only going to really notice that if you are an insane person, aka a Transformers figure reviewer on YouTube. Most people aren't going to notice the difference between the reds and blues, and it may be hard for it to pick up on camera. The red on the oversized is slightly darker. The color difference in the blues is a lot more noticeable. The grays and silvers are also major areas of color differences. Some of the gray plastic is darker, and this one has some metallic silver on it, which looks really nice. The Black Mamba figure also has dark grays and silver. Now the plastic quality on this is a big one. It does feel cheap, but not too cheap. Like, it really isn't that bad, especially since this figure is around $30, while the original is around $50 at its original retail price. It's kind of crazy we get a figure that's this big with extra pieces for less than the price of the original figure. And that neat little Noah figure, which we'll take a look at later. Now let's start with taking a look at the head sculpt. The head sculpt on this figure looks absolutely fantastic, just like the original. We will notice the blue is a lighter shade, and personally for me, the eyes on this figure seem to pop out a bit more. All the detail on the mouth plate also comes out really well. And another thing I really like about this knockoff are the extra paint applications on the head. We have some extra paint applications over here as well as on the back. And here is a comparison with the original figure and a comparison of the backs. Here's a closer look at the eyes on the original figure. The knockoff is much more metallic. The head can spin just like the original, a full 360. It is on a ball joint. It can move up and down. I really think the larger sculpt really helps bring out a lot more in this figure everywhere in general. Like, a lot of the details really do stick out a lot more. Now coming up to this section, just like the original, there's not really a whole lot going on here in terms of detail. Some differences are this is now a metallic silver and this area is not painted. Sorry, I'm an idiot, not paint. This area is not a gray plastic. And here is a side by side. As you can see, the details are mostly the same. Now with this section being gray on the original figure, it really made the top of the vehicle mode look kind of ugly. I'm really glad they made it red over here, as we will see how much better that looks in the vehicle mode. And as a comparison, it is a metallic gray on the Black Mamba figure. Coming to the shoulders, no Autobot insignia since this is a knockoff. Some nice silver paint over here. The smokestacks are also a silver paint as compared onto the original, where this entire area is just gray plastic. Once again, darker arms over here, and once we get down over here, we do get some of that nice detail that was also on the original, but since it is larger, it is much easier to see now. I do like the dark metallic gray over here. figure, and we will notice some extra silver paint applications for the truck mode bits of the figure. We can bring this arm out to the side. We do get a full 360 rotation over there, a bicep rotation, an elbow bend, hand rotation. Now if you are worried about not having an Autobot insignia, the Shoji store generally gives you some stickers when you purchase the figure, so you could add them on yourself.
I don't do that because I'm scared and I'm afraid I'll mess up. Like if it was slightly tilted 2 degrees, I would notice and it would bother me forever.
Now coming down to the abdomen area, it looks really great. I love all the details on there. Once again, the oversized nature of this figure really brings it out a lot more. Everything is so much easier to see.
They are lying to you when they say size does not matter. I'm doing perfectly okay, by the way.
We get a fake ab crunch, which is utilized for the transformation. One thing I also like is that this entire area is now the same color. On the original figure, we have some metallic silver paint over here, but this is gray, and this area is also gray, and they both seem like different colors of gray as well. On this figure, it is all a metallic silver, and it looks really great. It definitely makes the figure look so much more cohesive and accurate to his movie design. Coming over to the chest piece, not a whole lot of differences to point out. The only thing that I noticed was that the translucent plastic for the windows is not as tinted as it is on the original figure. Since this is a knockoff, obviously this gap area for the chest is going to be bigger. This is how the figure is supposed to be. As you can see on the original, he also does have a gap, but it's going to appear much smaller since this is a smaller figure. Another thing I literally just noticed is that inside, this is all gray, while over here, this is red, and I believe this does play a role for the vehicle mode, making the colors look a lot more cohesive. Coming down to the crotch piece, this is not die-cast metal, which is how it was on the Black Mamba knockoff, but once again, it is all a metallic silver that is in a different color than the original Rise of the Beast figure. We will also now notice this area is now done in a black paint rather than being in yellow, which is more accurate to the movie.
At least I think it is.
We get a waist rotation. Coming further down, all this is in that metallic silver, which looks really great as compared to the bland gray on the original figure, and the Black Mamba knockoff has a darker metallic silver over here and a lighter silver for this area. Now, this inside leg detail looks absolutely amazing. Once again, the large nature of the figure really brings it out. The details are exactly the same as the original figure. This area is also now a silver color, with this bit of plastic being gray, as compared to being just blue on the original, as well as the Black Mamba knockoff. Now, this area can come out, and this all can rotate around for that slightly modified transformation. I also really like the addition of the painted taillights on the figure. On the original, they are completely silver, same with the Black Mamba. That is such a nice touch to add, which really helps bring the details of this figure to life. This is also painted like the original, but it does look really good. Turning into the side, we will notice some paint applications over here, which are completely blue on the original. Now in this area, you might notice a ball joint. That is because this area of the figure folds in for the vehicle mode, giving us that cleaner look for the back of the truck mode. Legs can move forward out over there, and these legs are kind of tight. We get a leg rotation. Legs can move out to the side. We can bring them only back there around there. This was also a limitation on the original figure. A knee bend. Now another great thing is that the feet are also painted, and these feet are a modified sculpt. On the original figure, they are entirely blue. Over here, we have some metallic silver and some blue over here, which does appear to be scuffing up a bit. Not the biggest issue though. Now turning over to the back is where we will see that major difference. As you can see, the sculpt is entirely different from the back over here. This is great for, once again, when we get into that vehicle mode. I do also like the painted in taillights.
The feet can move back and forth and do have a pivot.
Coming over to the back, all this detail looks absolutely fantastic. On the original, this entire back area was completely red paint. This area here is blue plastic. On this figure, all this is red plastic, and we get some nice silver paint. On the Black Mamba, it is all red plastic. Now this figure has two areas of die-cast metal. It is on the thighs. Now for some reason, this one is secure, but this one is a little bit loose on mine, so I really hope that doesn't pop out. Here's a look at the back of the legs, but what I really like about the wheels is that instead of getting 4 wheels for the legs, we now have 8. That is twice as much. I can do math. And what's really great about this is that they all spin individually, which is really impressive. Now here is the oversized knockoff compared to the mainline Rise of the Beast figure. This is not a Studio Series figure. As you can see, very, very different sculpts going on here. Surprisingly though, the taillights were painted on here and they weren't like that on the Studio Series figure. And here's a quick look at the back. So far, this figure seems to be pretty exceptional. I am really drawn to it. I'm very glad I bought it, especially at that lower price point. This is like, honestly, a really great figure. And before we get into the wonderful amount of accessories this figure has, it is important to note that the instructions only talk about transforming the figure and how to store some of the accessories on in vehicle mode. If you want to know what some of these accessories do,
you'll have to take a look at the box for that.
Let's start by taking a look at the smaller stuff. So we get a holographic glow piece for Optimus Prime, as we saw in the Bumblebee movie. We also get a holographic piece that's showing off the transwarp key. We get his regular mini blaster that the original figure came with.
I'm pretty sure this is for for weapon storage. Same with this one and this one.
Now the rest of these tiny accessories are for Noah. These are his 2 blasters. These 2 are blaster effects pieces. These 2 smaller ones are for his thrusters. And these 2 are his blade accessories.
These are a lot of small things to take care of, and with my silliness, things are gonna get lost.
So now here is his battle axe. This is something the original figure did not come with. The Optimus Primal Studio Series figure did come with a battle axe, but honestly that figure is also really impossible to find. So we get this one over here, and this is really nice. It's sculpted pretty well, and it's in that dark metallic silver. Now to give him his axe, we do need to take off this piece from here, and we slot this part in, and we bring this in over there. And the grip on that is pretty solid. We also get 2 blades for the figure. These are pretty much just the same as the original, except upscaled and completely in that metallic silver color. We also get an ion blaster, which I believe this is an upscaled version of the Studio Series Bumblebee Optimus Prime. And this is looking pretty good. This tool is a bit cheap on the plastic quality.
Now the grip on the ion blaster isn't the best. It's kind of angled up and looks off.
Now 2 very new pieces are these blasters. We saw him use this in the movie, and we get 1 for each hand, and this looks absolutely amazing. I love the silver paint on here, and the sculpt on this looks fantastic. It looks so much better than this.
Unfortunately, the connection sucks.
We also get a transwarp key. I got 2 with my copy of the figure. I don't know if I was supposed to get 2 because the box only displays 1. The last accessory is this optional parts forming bit for the vehicle mode, just to make that back look a lot more cleaner. And the way this looks is just absolutely fantastic. Once again, some more nice silver paint. I do like the trailer hitch detail over here. Obviously, you cannot attach an actual trailer to this, and most trailers that come with Voyager Optimus Prime figures are going to be way too small for this figure. But overall, this is a very neat addition to have. Now, we've talked about Optimus Prime so much, let's move on to the Noah figure. So this is a fairly tiny figure of Noah when Mirage gets onto him. Not like that. Now, since it is a small figure, getting it to look very accurate is going to be next to impossible. But for what they did, I think they did a pretty good job, especially with the level of detail they managed to add on all throughout this. The helmet over here looks great. We get some nice gold paint over there. Some red paint over here to represent the lights in Mirage's vehicle mode that did appear on his boobies in the movie. But yeah, the sculpt of this is like really impressive. We even get a little thruster at the back, which is really cool. These 2 slots here are for his bladed weapons. When I saw the figure was going to come with this figure, I was honestly really excited. So now in terms of articulation, this head is on a ball joint, so we can move it up and down. We do get a rotation. This is on a ball joint, so we can move it out to the side, and it's popped off very easily. We get a rotation over there, elbow bend, legs forward, out to the side, back over there. They're on a ball joint, so you get that ball jointy movement.
The knee bend doesn't really go past there.
The foot can rotate all the way around, and we get a pivot. Now on to the figure's transformation, and for the most part, it is pretty much the same as the original figure, except for those few areas in the legs. So to start off, we'll come to the arms, we'll open this up, flip the hands in, and close that back up. Same over here, open that up, flip that in, and close that back up. We can come to the back, take this from the arm, and unfold that all the way out. Same over here, unfold that all the way out. Grab this piece and flip it down. Same over here. Take the top half and bring it down. We can take this area and bring that out. It is in there a little bit tight. There we go. Bring out the tires on both sides of the figure. Rotate the top chest of the figure around. Open up the chest piece. Bring this up, covering his face. Grab the rest of the figure from here and bring it down all the way. Close up the chest. So now for the arms, you're going to bring that up and then rotate it backwards. Adjust the arm like so. Make sure this lines up and connects into place. Now we can grab this part of the arm and bring it in all the way over there. Bring that up to the top. We can bring this down and flip this over. And we're going to want to do the same thing over here. So now we can grab this and push that into place. Come to the legs. We can flip this over, bring the leg out, grab this piece and undo that. Bring this part of the leg up. Now this piece needs to flip around like so and bring it in and down like so, lining it up right there.
It might be a bit tricky.
Rotate this up, take this foot, rotate it this way, bring it in like so, undo that, bring this up, rotate that there, grab this foot and rotate it in. Let's make sure this is rotated up.
The piece is a bit loose. Now we can bring this all in. The connection for these pieces, like my sanity, isn't very stable, so they do pop out very easily. These pieces need to connect at the top and this at the bottom. Adjust this piece like so. Let's bring those feet together.
The figure is a little bit flimsy, so I'm gonna have to readjust all this.
Bring these out on the side. Oh. Knockoff price, knockoff quality. Push in the skirt flaps.
This one is being a bit stubborn. There we go. This piece has popped out again, so I'm going to make some final adjustments and come back. And here is the final vehicle mode for Optimus Prime.
Or at least to the best of my ability. We will talk about that. He can hold all of the accessories on him, and I think he looks absolutely ridiculous like this. For attaching the cannons to the side, we do need to bring this out a little bit, so we can attach this piece in here. So for the figure, I can't really seem to get this part to go in all the way. And looking at other copies of this figure online, it appears to be a reoccurring issue, so that is a bit unfortunate. What seems to be the case is that this piece right here is maybe a little bit too big, so it doesn't really want to properly peg in over there. So yeah, that is an unfortunate thing with the figure. But now let's come to the back of the figure. It looks so much cleaner on here than it does on the original Studio Series figure. We don't have those really ugly pieces sticking out, and I love how they're in here now. Coming over to the side, we do have a lot more painted details in here, and I'll compare it with the original in a second. The top is also pretty much entirely red now as compared to the original figure. Now, a few issues I do have with the figure is that the smokestacks are kind of loose, and this does tend to undo sometimes, so that is a little bit annoying, and you do need to like readjust it every now and then. And you can see this one has also undone on this side. I'm not annoyed at all. This piece also seems to be a little bit loose, but the rest of the vehicle mode is done pretty well. Now here it is compared to the original Studio Series figure. One thing you'll notice right away is that this top section is now entirely red over here, as opposed to having these ugly gray parts over here. It does look so much better on here. One thing about transforming this figure though is that it does feel a bit more solid to transform, but once again here you can see that ugly back area that is no longer present on this figure. And here is a comparison of these two side by side. Once again, this looks so much better with that back piece. Here's a comparison of the back. Once again, I like this one a lot better than the ones on here. And once again, the extra wheels on here are a really nice touch. There are also some extra paint applications over here that are not present on the original figure. This piece also comes down to the side now, which does look a little bit nicer. But now here is that extra piece for the vehicle mode, and you basically just put it on like so and make sure it's snapped into place. And with that, this figure now looks even cleaner in the truck mode. I know it is some parts forming, but it is optional. Everything about this figure is a pretty good upgrade from the original, except for this piece not wanting to tab in. With this price point and the amount of accessories it comes with, I really do recommend this figure.